So have you ever had a moment where you were doing a task and you felt kind of disconnected from your brain, and you weren't really thinking about too much things. You weren't really thinking about the task that you're doing. You were just doing it, and you were executing the task at a really great level, maybe more than one task, or maybe a very complicated task. But you weren't really thinking about it, or you weren't really obsessing about any details or thinking in your mind your next step and stuff. You were just executing. And I believe this is the most powerful state that a human being can reach in whatever you're doing. If you're able to reach this mindset, this tuning out of the world and just executing the task, if you can reach this state in anything that you do, you're basically a master. And I call this state the mastery. And in this video, I will talk about how we can reach mastery and what might be some things that we don't understand about it, which prevents us from actually doing something really great, becoming really great at something. So the first thing that I want you to realize is that this is not a God's gift. So anybody can become a master at basically anything. Of course, how easy it will be for you to become a master depends on the thing that you want to do, of course, because some things may be more suited to you compared to some others. That's why you becoming a master is not like a constant rate at everything. However, this is not a God's gift. Whenever you see someone who is really great at something, who is really capable in something, it's usually through a lot of trial and error, not through some kind of God's gift that they were just gifted with this ability to just tune out of the world and only think about the thing that they're gonna do. This is not the case. To become a master at something, you should do it constantly for a very long time. Like for a very long time. We always hear this cliche thing about mastering a skill, in which they say that you need around 10,000 hours in each habit to become really great at it. I don't really obsess with some certain numbers in these type of situations, because for some people it will probably take far less than 10,000 hours, because I know myself becoming really great at something even though I've spent less time than 10,000 hours. But the moral of the story with this 10,000 hours thing is that you should do a lot of trial and error in order to reach that mastery state. This will not come onto you by like a gift, let's say. Of course, you might be more suited to doing certain things compared to other things, but in order for you to reach this mastery state, you should do this again and again. Because things really become automated as you do them more and more. This is how you become a master at anything else. You should do many hours of work around this, and you should never completely feel satisfied about your work. You should always try to seek some improvement in it, and you should try to do it as much as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be on the level that you imagined it to be on the first trials and stuff, but you should just do this thing very often. Do this thing very often. And what's beautiful about this mastery thing is that while you're becoming a master in anything that you do, it starts to take less energy from you. As things get easier for you and as things get more automated, and they will get automated after you do it for like a certain period or certain times, things will get automated and you will start to spend less energy on the task that you're becoming a master at. So in turn, you can then become a master in other things as well, because as you become good in a hobby, in a habit, or anything that you're trying to improve and become a master at, as you become good at it, it will require less energy from you. And as a result, you will have more energy in yourself to spend it on somewhere else. And that's how you actually have a more full, more comprehensive life, let's say. Because when you stack your skills up in certain aspect of life, you will start to spend less energy on it, and in turn you will be able to work on other aspects of your life as well. That's why we always say focusing on one thing at one time is actually the tool to be able to do more things at one time. Because first you need to get really good at something in order for you to actually spend less energy on it and to have that spare energy to actually spend on other things as well. So, becoming a master at anything requires a lot of effort, a lot of trial and error, and this will be the main thing that will take you to become a master at anything. Not God's gift, it's how much you do that thing. And the second thing which I want you to understand is that you should find out what's actually suited for you. Of course, you can become good at anything, but there are certain things that make you you. There are certain properties of your personality or your mind, how you think, how you look at the situations, what's your perspectives about certain morals and stuff, and all of these dictate how good you can actually become at certain things. So let's give an example of Albert Einstein. So Albert Einstein was not really good at forming practical experiments about his theories or about the thoughts that he had actually. And in his time, most of the scientists were more tended to forming some physical experiments about the things that they were thinking about. But Albert Einstein did not really have the power of other more typical scientists, and he wasn't really good at forming practical experiments. But he was aware of his main strength, which was abstract thinking. He was really able to think about very complex stuff in very detailed aspects. And that's how he actually came up with the theory of relativity, which kind of changed our whole understanding about the gravity, about space, and about time. And how Einstein did this was that he understood what he was actually capable of instead of forcing what other people told him to do or what other people would usually prefer to do. Because, like I said, in life, you naturally are more tended to do certain things than others. Some people are more tended to play football compared to doing bodybuilding. Or, for example, me, I personally like to operate as a single individual, and that's why I chose bodybuilding and boxing instead of a team sport, because I am not really good with operating with teams in sports, let's say. I like to depend on myself. I like to count on myself, not count on others for my success. That's how I'm built. That's why I like to do bodybuilding and I like to do boxing. And also I like to arrange how I train and how I do these sports on my own. I don't want to be fixed on a time which is more suited to the coach, or I don't want to train in a style which is more suited for my coach. I would like to individualize how I train and in what time I train. And because I was aware of these situations, I was able to choose what I will become a master at. And that's why I chose bodybuilding. That's why I chose boxing, because I knew that these were for me. That's why I did not choose football, for example. And in my country, most of the boys and most of the other people tend to choose football just because it's popular, just because it's more accepted by our culture, let's say. Because if you play football, yeah, that makes you cool, that makes you a man, let's say. Because in my culture, in my country, football is the mainstream sport, and I believe it's the mainstream sport in many countries. But I didn't like playing football. I liked watching football, but I didn't like playing it. And that's why I knew that I couldn't become a master at playing football. And that's why I chose bodybuilding and boxing again. So what I want you to understand from this point is that some things will be naturally more suited for you. And if you choose those things, A, you will be able to become a master at it much quicker while enjoying it, and B, you will be able to actually become successful in life if you choose to act in the same direction as your strengths. Because many of us make this big mistake that we kind of choose to ignore our strengths, ignore our tendencies for the sake of becoming accepted and liked from other people. But what we need to realize is that becoming accepted or becoming liked by other people is not something that you should optimize for. What you should optimize for is your strengths and is your tendencies, let's say. And if you optimize for your strengths and tendencies, you will automatically become a more successful and more competent person at the end. And that is the main thing that will actually lead other people liking you or other people respecting you. But if you choose to optimize for other people, yes, you will be liked, yes, you will have some respect from other people, but you will not feel like yourself and you will not feel happy, because you will be attracting other people who are not really your type of people, because you're acting like someone else, you're not living your own life. And that's what ignoring your tendencies and ignoring your strengths will do to you. You'll be liked by other people, but they will not be the people who you dreamed of having by your side. Yes, you'll be successful, but you still will not be happy even though you are leading a successful life. So even though you will have money, even though you will have success, even though you will have respect, you will not have yourself. And that's why you will not like your life, you will not like yourself. So if you want to become a master at doing things, and if you actually want to become successful in life, you should understand what your strengths and what your tendencies are. And if you go against these, life will be much harder to bear. I'm telling you. Yeah. So what you want to become master at in life, you can comment down below and you can share your thoughts about the video if you like it, or if you don't, you can also put your dislike on it. All of the reactions, all of the feedbacks are very important for me, because I'm really trying to optimize my channel for my viewers and what's actually more useful for them. That's what is most important about this channel, is that I want to provide value for you. So if you find this video valuable, please comment down below, say your thoughts, like the video, because the most important thing for me is to provide value. And if I can provide value, I'm really content. That's what I aim for. And yeah, I will catch you on the next one.